So the original Shadow of the Colossus passed me by. I was about 15 when it came out on the PS2. I didn't even remember seeing it or hearing about it. The first time I ever heard about it was probably about 2 years ago. My brother-in-law, he mentioned the game. He said it was one of his favourite PS2 games when he was growing up, and he's only about a year or two older than me. And he would talk to me about it, and he'd be like, "Oh, it's amazing. You're kind of just this tiny kid. You go around, you take down these beasts and these monsters. It's fantastic. It's amazing." He was really making it sound like it was one of the most grandiose games that had ever been released, not just on the PS2, but ever. So I remember that, him talking to me about it, and the name and the premise and the YouTube videos of the PS2 game, or it might have been the PS3 version. I can't remember off the top of my head. But him talking about it for some reason was always slinging in the back of my head. And then there was the announcement of the remake. It's not a remaster. It's not like a HD upgrade like the Uncharted games were. It's a complete from the ground up remake, kind of like the Crash Bandicoot remaster that we had last year that I was absolutely crazy for. So I had a look on Amazon and it was going for about £22. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to get it. My brother-in-law raves about it. All the reviews are saying it's fantastic. I'm just going to buy it. I'm going to see what it's like. And I've already completed the main story. I've completed it in probably, I'd say, around 4 or 5 days. Only really playing 2 hours a day. Which, you know, I think in the game I clocked in about 6 hours, so it's not a very long game, so I can see why it went fairly cheap. Plus, it's it's a remaster. When Crash Bandicoot came out, it was like £25. So, but this is kind of my quick sort of thoughts on Shadow of the Colossus. So really, I'm going to say everything that everyone else has said. It is a really good game. Some of the battles in particular are really, really amazing. Some of the puzzles, because it's essentially a puzzle game more than an action game, but some of the puzzles that you have to do to take down the Colossi is really quite impressive in terms of, you know, the ingenuity. Is that the word? I think I just made up a word. I don't know. But in terms of the thoughts behind it, and, you know, when you figure out how to do it, it's a really awesome feeling. So it was a fantastic kind of epic game, and I really, really enjoyed it on that respect. But my main issue now this is just me. I don't think anyone else is saying it. I don't see anyone else online saying it, but this is just me. And I think my biggest kind of nitpick is the fact that so you take down a Colossus, and that's fine, and you have this amazing fight, and there's this awesome music, and it's generally fantastic. You really feel like you take down this monster, and you're just this tiny human, and you do it, and it's amazing. But I think when it finishes, and you kind of restart from the temple again, and that's fine. Sometimes it means it's easier if you fought in the south, and then you have to go to the north. You know, it kind of makes it a bit easier to travel to. But saying that, sometimes the travelling to the Colossi was so monotonous, if I'm going to be honest. There was no music. The environment was kind of, you know, I don't want to say it was bland, but there isn't really much going on. It's not really an open world game. It's not really a sandbox game. So there's not really much going on. It's just you on your horse, and you're riding your horse, and it can take like a good up to 5 minutes to kind of figure your way out to get to the Colossi. But there's no music, and I get what it's trying to do. It's trying to build an atmosphere. Maybe this is just me not being very cultured, which, you know, is absolutely a fair argument, I guess. But it didn't really work to me. Sometimes I would get bored when when I'm playing late into the night, when it's like 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and all I'm doing is riding on this horse, and all I can hear is the clip-clops of the horse's hooves. You know, I can feel myself getting tired sometimes. I could feel my eyes drooping. It didn't really invest me. The only time it invested me was when you fought the Colossi. That's kind of my main issue. I also was a little disappointed with the final Colossi, only because, you know, you see the sheer size of it, and, you know, I'm not going to give too much away in case you're still playing it, but you see the sheer size of it, and I was thinking, oh my god, this is going to be crazy, and it did take me a while. I'd say it took me a good 40 minutes to take this guy down, but it was more down to me falling off or making mistakes, jumping when I shouldn't have jumped, things like that, as opposed to it really being difficult. The guy, the Colossi wasn't really that much of a badass as I thought, especially when you finally kind of go into the catacombs to get under, to escape his firing of his laser cannons. Not his laser cannons, he's not Ultron. He looks like Ultron, is that just me? It might be, I don't know. Anyway, he's shooting it, and once you get like underneath him and then you just climb up, it was fine. I was a little disappointed. The music also didn't go with that battle. I don't know if that was just me. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. The fights were amazing, especially with the really, really big monsters. You just felt it gave you this feeling that I don't really get in that many games. It was just pure exhilaration. You know, it was kind of the same feelings I would get when I would play like Uncharted, and Drake would be doing some, you know, there'd be a major kind of set piece of major action scenes. That's the sort of thing that I got. But I think for me, also the controls of the horse. But I've seen everyone say that the controls for the horse, apparently the original was even worse, so I'm not even going to go back and play the original. But for me, it was just kind of those middle bits where you're just running around. It was boring. It kind of sucked me out of the game. You have these fantastic moments of just pure exhilaration, pure adrenaline. You're taking down these, you know, 100-foot, 300-foot monsters. Maybe not 300 foot, that might be a bit too high, Liam. But, you know, you're taking down these monsters that are about 100 feet tall. And then you have to spend the next 5 minutes listening to just clip-clops of horse hooves. It just kind of sucked me out of it a little bit. But overall, I mean, I'm definitely going to play it again. I want to complete it. I want to get the Platinum Trophy. I definitely recommend it. But just, you know, be aware of the situation of going from Colossi to Colossi.